right, good morning everyone. This is the National Weather Service in Springfield, Missouri. Wanted to give you a quick update about what we are currently seeing on radar as well as current observations across the area, as well as an update on what we're expecting to continue through the morning and then into the afternoon and evening hours. So what you see here is the current radar across the area. So one quick thing before I toggle on the temperature setting here is wanted to draw your attention to a couple cells in Laclede County, even some in Wright County, and then Pulaski as well. Now those cells are a little convective, so you could see some thunder and lightning coming out of those cells. So far, the cells that we have seen track through the area over the past few hours have produced just some small hail, generally around penny size. So we could expect that to continue with these specific cells, mainly just expecting lightning and then maybe some quick, brief bursts of some smaller hail. Now I'm going to quickly turn on the temperature setting here, and this is largely what the radar is outputting for the precipitation type that it's thinking is hitting the surface. So anything in green is showing where it's thinking rain is falling, and then as you head into the pink and orange colors, that's where we're going to see more of that mixed precipitation with freezing rain in the pink and then kind of going more towards sleet and then snow where you see those blue and purple colors. Now, I did want to point out that even though you see this large expansive area of those green colors where the radar is saying that we're seeing rain at the surface, there could be some pockets of freezing rain as temperatures are kind of fluctuating between freezing and slightly below freezing. So we are expecting this to continue as we head into the late morning hours. Wanted to show you what we're currently seeing for the temperatures. This blue line is showing where our freezing line is currently showing up. So everything south of this blue line is where our temperatures are generally above freezing, and then everything north is where temperatures are generally below freezing. So as we continue through the rest of the morning hours, we're expecting this freezing line to generally stay fairly stationary, could fluctuate a little bit here and there, but should stay fairly stationary through the next several hours. However, as we continue into the afternoon hours, we're expecting this freezing line to continue pushing south and southeast. And now what that's going to do is that's going to allow all of our temperatures here to start dropping down into the mid to upper 20s. Now, as that occurs, depending on how quickly that happens, we could expect to see some flash freeze conditions. Flash freeze conditions is just generally when we have a wet pavement and we have a sudden drop in temperatures to below freezing, generally to the mid to upper 20s, that surface could begin to freeze over. So we could see that mainly towards the early to mid-afternoon hours before moving on. Wanted to draw your attention, this is a model output of just simulated reflectivity as we continue on through the morning and afternoon. Now, did want to say, don't take this at face value. This is just one model output, but this can give you a pretty good idea of what we could potentially expect. So again, kind of same thing that we saw on the radar. Everything in green, that's going to be our rain. And then as we get into the pinks, that's more freezing rain. And then the blues and purples are going to be where we expect snow or sleet. So as we progress into the morning hours, still kind of expecting those that rain generally along and south of Highway 60. Could see some pockets of freezing rain as we continue, and then further north some snow and or sleet. Now, towards the early afternoon hours, we could see this dry slot, and basically showing a decrease in precipitation. Now, I say a dry slot, however, we could see some pockets of patchy drizzle, and depending on where the temperatures are at, if temperatures are below freezing, could see some pockets of patchy freezing drizzle as well. So even though we aren't seeing that heavier precipitation, we're still going to expect some impacts across the area. Now, as we continue through the afternoon and into the evening hours, that's when we're really going to see that transition over to more of a mixed precipitation, and then later on to snow as that precipitation wraps around this system. So this is mid-afternoon time frame. We're going to see how much of the area is going to kind of switch over to that mixed precipitation, and then switching over to snow and persisting through the afternoon and the evening hours. Right now, generally, the time frame of this pushing east of the area is around midnight. However, this could persist a few hours beyond midnight into the very early morning hours Monday morning. As a reminder, we do have a winter storm warning in effect everywhere where you see these pink colors here, so generally north of Highway 60. And then for southwest Missouri and far southeast Kansas, where you see kind of this light purple color, we do have a winter weather advisory. And then an ice storm warning for areas east of Webster and Douglas counties, where you see this darker purple color as well. As we continue on through the morning and early afternoon hours, we are expecting to receive some more ice accumulations across the area. Where you see these red colors, that's where we're expecting the majority of the ice accumulations. These areas could still see anywhere up to 1/4 of an inch, maybe slightly higher than 1/4 of an inch. With these areas in orange, so Nevada to Warsaw, generalized areas, could see an additional 1/10 of an inch up to 1/4 of an inch as well. So this is what we're expecting for the ice accumulations. And then for the snow accumulations, as that system begins to wrap around and we see that transition over to more of a snow falling, we could see anywhere up to 1 to 2 inches, mainly again along and north of Highway 60. And then the further north you go, that's where we're seeing the increased probabilities for those higher snowfall amounts. So anywhere up to 2 to 4 inches, maybe even higher to 5 inches as you get closer to central Missouri. Now, one more hazard that we do want to emphasize is we are expecting some high wind gusts throughout the day, generally increasing through the afternoon. We are expecting wind gusts up to 30 to 40, maybe even up to 45 miles per hour. And those higher wind gusts are going to persist through much of the day. However, I say that because as we see that transition over to more of a snow, we could see some blowing snow, especially as you get kind of more northwest of the I-44 corridor. Now, the other thing that this could pose as an impact is with any of those ice accumulations on power lines, those heavy winds are going to add an additional impact, and we could see some power outages increase throughout the day today. So as a reminder, with freezing rain, we're going to see those heavy impacts, especially on the roads. So definitely want to make sure that you are staying aware of the weather, staying aware of where the freezing rain is and where it's fallen. Watch out for those falling branches and power lines. And if you can, just stay off the roads until the weather is past. So I'll pull up the current radar one more time. And this has been a quick brief from the National Weather Service in Springfield, Missouri.